Okay. Hello. I think we are live. I like to make sure that I get a notification on my phone that says we're live on all the platforms just to make sure. And I usually do get one from all of them within a few seconds. And I know Danny's here too, so she'll be double checking. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, it says we're live. Okay, so we are live on YouTube. We are live on TikTok. Oh, and TikTok can hear me saying we're live. Let me check Instagram. I'll check Instagram. Not showing live on Instagram yet, which is interesting. Okay, Danny's going to work on that, but we'll get started. Hi, Michelle.
Hello,
Um,
how are you?
Good. It's nice to have you join me today for Tune In Tuesday. So Tune In Tuesdays, I go live and chat about all kinds of things related to parenting, to children, to parents taking care of themselves while taking care of their children, all sorts of things. And so you are our first guest, and we get you 2 weeks in a row, which makes me super happy. Um, and today we're going to talk about simplifying fitness as a busy parent. And I think this is the perfect time of year to talk about it. And I learned that it's even more perfect timing because you've got a fitness challenge coming. That's exciting. I am going to say hey to everybody who's joining us. Of course, when you join, let us know where you are joining from. Let us know how many kids you have. Feel free to drop questions in the chat. Let us know if you have any questions about fitness or any of the work that Michelle does, or if you have questions for me about how I've worked with Michelle. Because, of course, I don't like to talk about things I haven't done. And Michelle is my functional medicine doctor and has worked with one of my children. So, feel free to ask questions about that experience as well. But Michelle, I'm going to pass it over to you to introduce yourself.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me here. I love you so much. And my name is Michelle Nair. I am a chiropractor. First, moved into functional medicine after I worked as a chiropractor for a handful of years. I have been in functional medicine ever since. I have been in practice for 15 years, which is wild to say because I don't feel like I'm that old. But I have worked with all sorts of different kinds of people, ranging from, babies brand spanking new to the elderly. And really my job as a functional medicine practitioner is to help anybody who comes to me feel and function their absolute best. But address it in a way from the root cause aspect, right? So no slapping Band-Aids, no just pushing down symptoms. We're really trying to dig and really I get to be an investigator and figure out why you're having those symptoms and what we can do to correct it. I have a son. He's 5.5. He's almost 6, which is also wild to say. I stopped there. I'm busy enough with with one, and that's good for me. So I think that's enough about me. I think. Anything else I missed, Tom?
Yeah. What's your like? This could be the first question. So, what made you interested in health, and also what is your background when it comes to fitness?
Yeah, so great question. So I grew up an athlete, so fitness has been a part of my life, really since very young on. But fitness as an adult is very different than fitness as a young athlete. And I was working as a chiropractor, and at the time I was faced with some health challenges. So it was 2013, and I was diagnosed with melanoma. And in that whole experience, I really realized, I was in really great shape. I was probably in arguably the best shape that I had ever, physical shape I had been in, or cardiovascular shape, like external looking shape. And it just made me realize that it really doesn't matter what things look like on the outside. What really matters is how things are functioning on the inside. And that was what inspired me or encouraged me, or out of sheer desperation, I started looking into gut health and detoxification and all things functional medicine. And that's really what got me into it. And after going through that experience yourself, and feeling so miserable and then getting to the other side and feeling so fantastic, that's really just what, I want to bring to everybody that I get to work with.
I love that. I'm going to tell people how we met really fast because I was telling somebody about this live today, and I can't remember who it was. But they're like, "Oh, how long have you known her?" Like assuming because we're both from Nebraska, like clearly we've been friends our whole lives. When we're talking about, "I love you, I love you," they're like, "Clearly, this is like Dom's high school like bestie or something." I met Michelle online on Facebook through a Facebook group. She was hosting an event that I was invited to. It was all about athleisure clothes. I was sold. And what was special is that she continued to like stay in contact. And like that doesn't happen, right? Like you go to these different parties and like events and things that people do, and like the host or like the person who invited you is your friend, but like the person running it is likely somebody you don't know. She continued to stay in contact. We started working together. Obviously, fell in love with the clothes. I had some at my metallic leggings on right now. Surprise, surprise. And I also have on a sports bra from there as well, my fave. And we just kept in contact. And then I became a mama, started having some like health issues. She's a chiropractor, and like the information that she was giving out, I'm like, I think I need that. And so started working with you to do some healing protocols. We found out my son had autism. And she was just like such a good resource there when I felt like I was going crazy, when I'm like, okay, I know, like, I got to help him. I got to figure this nutrition thing out. I've got to, I desperately need sleep, friend. Please help me. Michelle was there. And I can tell you that there are a lot of things I was able to do from the comfort of my home with her support in opening up my detox pathways, in finally figuring out like how to lose weight in a safe way, starting to see good changes in my body, getting more active with a limited schedule, especially with 2 toddlers and working and trying to build a business and a platform. It's been amazing. And we still have not met in person. We are well overdue. I was telling her
We
earlier,
will.
we're well for hugs and food and drinks and our kids. To me, I feel like I watched her son grow up. Like we would get on videos and he would be there and he was a baby. I wasn't even thinking about parenting then. And now I've got the babies. And she gets to see them grow up. So that's us working together. And that's why I felt like she was perfect. When I was planning out like topics for Tune In Tuesday, I knew like I've got to have Michelle twice, because I think what's special about you is you continue to stay up to date on research. You're not afraid to say, yeah, like that was cool, but like it's really not giving, the results that like I want for my patients. So I'm gonna try this. And Dom, I know you think I'm crazy, but and that I'm like, that's like a medical professional you can trust. Someone who's like, that thing was good and it works for some people, but it's not doing what I want for my clients. And so let me adjust. And so tell me about why. Like, why is it that you do that?
So I think it's really important. Obviously, when I'm doing something, I have to be fully in belief, right, of what I'm sharing with people. And I just feel like, it's very easy as a practitioner to get into your routines and to continue to, do what works for right now. And you kind of get into this little box and you just kind of rinse and repeat. But I think it's really important that I continue to learn. I continue to challenge things, because I was a patient that not like the traditional things didn't really work on me. Right.
Yeah.
And so I had to keep looking and I had to keep trying. And I just feel like if I'm just like what I'm going to talk about, right. If you stop using it, you lose it. Right. And so you just should always keep learning and keep, because I mean, look at our nutrition guidance from the 80s to now. Same with fitness. We're going to talk about that, right? This week and next week. I mean, the what we believe to be the best for us isn't really the best. And we have to be honest with that. We can't, just continue to, have blinders on because this is what we think we know is true. And I think that if I want the respect of my patients and I want what's best for them too, I have to do that. I owe that to them.
I love that. I love that there's not like a one size fits all approach. There are things that work generally for people. But what I love about what you do is like keeping it real, saying like this didn't happen overnight. So like please trust this process because we want this to be lifestyle changes and we want this to work for you. And I love I'm on in your fitness and like health community. And what I love is I was like, okay, my grandma passed away a few months ago. I completely fell off the wagon in terms of fitness. And I look at the like workout plans we can choose from, and it's like the whole first week, just walk for 20 minutes a day. And I was like, that's so simple. I can walk around my house for 20 minutes, and I have done that. And I did get over a mile, which was crazy. I can walk outside for 20 minutes, right? Like, that's so simple. And it made me feel like I can do this. Like, at a time where I felt like, and I still do feel like I have these moments because grief is like such a roller coaster where I'm like, I can't I'm overwhelmed by everything. And like, I just want to cry and I just want my grandma, right? To know that I can just walk and it clicks in my head, like, yeah, you could just do that. And that actually is good enough. So, because it is still moving your body. So let's talk about the benefits of moving your body.
Yeah. So, and one of the things I really, really try and keep in perspective when I'm giving things to patients is bite size, right? So I'm a coach at heart. I coached volleyball in my days, and if I can't teach somebody how to start from the base, right, we got to walk before we can run, be able to do 10 squats before we can, max out and all of those things. Right. And so you have to keep that in mind for patients. Otherwise, they're going to, be discouraged before they even start. But so, I mean, the benefits of movement, obviously, I mean, we know there are lots of benefits, right? We've been talking about this for a long time, but movement is the key to all things in life. If you do not use it, you lose it. If you do not continue to move, you will not be able to move freely without pain later on into your years in life, right? So obviously, like the main benefits we already know are weight management, strength, injury prevention, cardiovascular health, bone health. Those are all super, super important. But really, I want to talk a little bit more about the things that I really focus on movement for my patients, right? So like when I'm talking to my patients, we're looking at the healing process. We're not looking at how can we be a size 4 or how can we, weigh X number of pounds, right? We're looking at how can we get your body feeling and functioning your absolute best, right? And so movement comes into play with how can we use movement to induce healing, health, and extend, right, the length of your life and quality of your life, right? So the first piece is when you move your body, you increase your energy, right? If you are struggling with fatigue and all of the things which you probably are as a parent, the more you move, the more energy you will have. It sounds counterintuitive, but it's very, very true. And the more you move, the more productive you are, the more positive you are, right? And the better your day is, all of those things, right? And I know that it's still true for me. If I don't move, if I'm not doing all the things I know I need to do, I'm not going to have as productive of a day as I know I could. The second piece is muscle mass is so important for fighting off and staving off chronic disease, right? So there are a plethora of studies that show as you lose muscle mass, if you don't work to maintain it or gain muscle mass, right, as you move into later years in life, that is actually one of the driving forces behind chronic disease, right? So that's our whole goal. We want to have as high a quality of life as possible, as long as possible, right? And then the next one is hormone balance, right? We need to move in the right ways, and we're going to talk about that next, but we need to be moving if we want to have hormones that are imbalanced so that we can feel and function our absolute best. And the last one is the most important, honestly, and it is lymphatic flow. All right. So one of the big things I walk patients through is detoxification, but your detox pathways have to be open before we actively detox, right? And so our lymphatic system is that, like the very tippy top of your detox pathways funnel, okay? And it doesn't have a built-in pump, right? So our cardiovascular system, our heart is a built-in pump, right? It pumps the blood. Our lymphatic system does not have a built-in pump. You and your body moving and the muscles contracting and relaxing, that is the pump that moves the lymphatic fluid throughout your body, right? So that you can actually eliminate toxins through your pee, your poop, and your sweat appropriately. If you can't do that, you aren't going to be able to detox, which means you're going to have chronic issues. You're going to have chronic symptoms. You're going to have all sorts of things come up, right? Because you your body is not able to clear those toxins. We live in a toxic world, right? There are toxins everywhere where they're coming at us. We can't stop that, right? We can limit them, but we can't stop that, right? So what we can do is optimize how our body is capable of eliminating them. And lymphatic flow is one of the biggest pieces of that. So when you move your body, when you do squats, when you do yoga, when you do spinal twists, when you do stretching, when you do all of those things, that is activating that lymphatic fluid so that we can help to clear those toxins so that your body doesn't have that buildup and lead to any chronic conditions.
This is so helpful. So when you say hormones, we're not just talking about like hormones for women, right? Like we're talking about hormones for everybody. Can you talk just like in general? Like I know sometimes we get into like gender war conversations, right? Where it's like, oh, that's only important for women, that's only important for men. But like, let's bust that myth right now and let's talk about it.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, muscle mass is really important and building muscle is really important for specifically testosterone production. Okay. Now that's speaking kind of towards men, but ladies, listen up because we need testosterone levels too. And as we age, they naturally decline, right? That's why our energy decreases. That's why our muscle mass decreases. That's why our libido decreases. Hello, right? And so when we build muscle mass, specifically that helps to increase testosterone to healthy levels, among other things, right? We'll get into cortisol and all of that in the next piece, unless you wanted me to talk about it right now. But cortisol is important for male, women, anybody in between, right? Whatever, it doesn't matter, right? But if we are not managing our cortisol, which exercise helps us do, we are not going to have hormones that are in balance.
So hormone balance, y'all, is important for everyone, and moving your body helps with that. So that is amazing. So let's talk about the types of movement that you focus on and like why you choose these types of movements for your patients. And also like relate
Yeah.
that to like how it's beneficial to see parents.
Sure. So, well, sanity. I'll just go right into that.
Absolutely.
Movement is important for sanity, my friends. All right. We're hanging on to it by a thread. So the types of movement that I don't think that science says are the most important, especially for hormone balance, and especially as male and female, as we age. Strength training, number one. Ladies, do not be afraid to build muscle. You will not bulk up. Okay. You will not, you will be stronger. You will be more toned. You will have fewer injuries, but most importantly, it will support your hormones. Men are just more inclined to enjoy strength training, but strength training is number one. Again, muscle mass, and that is what will light a fire in your metabolism long term, right? I'm a product of the 80s. And so, I was cardio till you're blue in the face. That's what I was taught, right? And cardio burns calories in the moment. Strength training burns calories when you're doing nothing long term, right? So number one, strength training. Okay. Number two, I really prefer walking. Okay. But any sort of light cardio that is considered, they call it the zone 2 cardio, which means you can carry on a conversation easily with somebody if you were with them, right? So, and really and truly, that piece is just working on circulation. It's working on lymphatic flow. And that is just getting everything moving. And movement is good for digestive health. I forgot to mention that too, right? Like if you struggle with constipation, or you're not having satisfying bowel movements, get moving, right? If you're not moving, nothing inside you moves. So the two things you should focus on are strength training and walking, or anything that you can do while carrying on a conversation. And it doesn't have to be for like bazillions of hours either. Short bursts is really almost more beneficial. We'll get to that in a second. But really and truly, what we're finding out is, and especially as parents, right, our stress is through the roof. We are being stressed. We are overstimulated. We have more demand than energy to give, right? And so what that does is that increases demand for cortisol is high. That is what drives hormonal imbalances, male and female, okay? Because our body uses the same substance to produce cortisol as it uses to make sex hormones, male and female. So it doesn't matter what your hormones are, what your balance is supposed to be. If your demand for cortisol is high because your stress is high, you're going to have hormonal imbalances, right? And so what we don't want to do, we used to say, oh, hit 45-minute intense cardio, get after it. I used to think if I wasn't like dead after I left the gym, I didn't work hard enough. I need to go back.
Yeah.
And what we're really finding is that's actually more depleting. That's going to drive hormonal balances even more. And so if we can look at exercise and movement as a gift, as a way to gain a benefit, right? Like not a punishment, right? Where you have to kill yourself and torture yourself to get to this certain size. How can I become stronger to be more confident and to have and do all of those things? Or how can I, after a long day or whatever, like really it's all about reducing that demand for cortisol. And if you're going hard for a long period of time, you're really not reducing that demand. So I think that was all I wanted to say on that. We really want movement to be a stress reliever, not a stress creator.
Yeah. That was one of the biggest things that I learned towards the end of last year. My best friend does Orange Theory, and she goes to the chiropractor and is like really like in touch with her health, and went to a doctor's appointment and was looking over her labs and things like that. And her doctor recommended that she not go every day. And she's like, well, first of all, Orange Theory is expensive. And second of all, what do you mean not going every day? Like it kind of, helps me to relieve stress from the workday, and it gives me something to do, and I get to detach from technology and all these things. And she's like, yeah, except it's having the opposite impact on you. It is like making you more stressed. It's causing you to get injured more often. And like you're not seeing the results. And so we chatted about it, and I was like, that's mind blowing, because I was just like you, like found out about HIIT, and people said you'll burn more calories and fat, and like you have to do it this way. And then my doctor told me, because of the porphyria condition that I have, like I also can't do that. And I was like kind of pissed off. Like, what do you mean? But I've got all these like genetic blood conditions, and when you look into them, it's like here's everything that those types of workouts was causing to happen within my body over the long term that I wasn't even realizing. And so walking and like strength training can give you the intensity you need to give you all of the benefits. Like it really can. And I'm proof of that. Like,
Mhm.
I was so angry. But now I'm doing more stretching, which actually feels really good after sitting in a chair all day. So I'm
Mhm.
stretching more often. The walks feel great. Like I just go in the middle of like the workday, then I come back and eat lunch and I can finish the day. Um, Strength training is not CrossFit or bodybuilding, right? Like you hear that and you're like, oh, so I gotta like lift a bunch of weights. It's like there's body weight exercises that you can do. There are lighter weight exercises you can do. All of those things build strength. And also, like, there's strength building yoga, even. I was sore after a 15-minute YouTube
Yeah.
yoga a couple of weeks ago. So, this conversation is like really busting a lot of myths. And I think when you do that, you realize just listening to you, like any kind of movement based on what you've just shared is helpful. We want like good strength in our muscles for a lot of reasons. And we want to move our bodies for a lot of reasons beyond heart health and things like that, but just like ensuring that we can continue to move. And even if you have limitations, right? I have some physical disabilities and injuries and things like that. I have still found ways to move. You can do like low impact, right? You can do, um, you know, like strength training in a chair. You can do chair yoga. There's bed yoga. There's things you can do at home. It doesn't, if a gym membership works for you, I totally recommend that. But if you're paying rent somewhere and there is a free gym over there, or it's not free, it's an amenity, right? You are paying for it. Go over there. Maybe it's quicker, right? But if you need classes, where you can walk with people. There are like organizations that do walking and running. And like I was in Black Girls Run when I first moved to Dallas, and you could walk there, and someone walked with me. And so I went to walk, 3 times a week. So there are just so many things that you can do to make sure you can take Michelle's suggestions there. And also not just suggestions from a doctor, but like it's what the science says, which is good to know.
Yeah.
So how long do we need to be working out? Like you know how busy I am. how how can we fit this into busy schedules when we've got school and sports and therapies, and you work as a parent and you're trying to stick to a night routine. I know we were talking and you're like, okay, my son goes to bed usually at this time, and this week he's been choosing to do whatever. So can we start a little bit later? And I'm like, yeah, because like we're parents, we get it. And then you're like, the night I pushed it back, he went to bed early. So like we understand busyness. How can we fit this into a busy schedule? Like how long should we be doing these things?
Yeah. So, I mean, my first thing that I want to say is that you have to make it a priority. No matter how long it is, it has to be a non-negotiable, right? We spend so much time caring for others, and we are so quick to just no questions asked, do what is needed for our kids or for our spouses or our loved ones, right? Why do we not do that same thing for ourselves, right? And so putting it on your schedule, making it a non-negotiable, and just making it like a meeting, right? Or like something you would do for your child, because really and truly you are doing it for everybody in your life, because it helps you show up better. And I know everybody on here has heard that, and it sounds so cliche, but I challenge you to prove me wrong. If you move your body, you're gonna, and spend even 10 minutes for yourself, you're gonna show up better for everybody else, because you don't have an empty cup that you're pouring from. But I really, honestly, I don't really have a time limit. Like, I don't want patients spending hours in the gym, period. Right? Like 30 minutes, 20, 30 minutes walking is awesome. That's and it doesn't have to be all at the same time either. Right? So they could actually call it like fitness or movement snacks. And so there's actually studies that are being conducted right now that are potentially showing that the little snacks, like little 5 to 10 minute snippets, right? Like you have a 15-minute break from work, right? Go take a walk for 10 minutes of that. Why not? Do some squats, do some push-ups, right? Though they're actually saying that potentially if you do like multiple smaller bouts of movement, they're actually more effective. And it makes sense, right? Because you're not just moving your body once for the rest of the day, right? You're moving it 10 minutes here, you're moving it 10 minutes here, and you're moving it 10 minutes here. And that's, I mean, that makes sense to me, right? That's logical. Why we didn't think about that, I don't know, right? We just want to get in and get it out, right? But 20 to 30 minutes of concentrated movement every single day is going to do worlds of difference for you. I would love for, 3-ish days, 3 at the minimum, 5 days max strength training, right? And then walk the rest of the time.
And how long do you need to do the strength training piece?
I mean, again, 20, 30 days of movement, or 20, 30 days, 20 to 30 minutes per day of concentrated movement, and I'm happy. However you fill that time. I do want strength training to be a focus, but it doesn't mean you have to go spend 45 minutes and pay a personal trainer and, throw 50-pound weights around and grunt and scream in the gym. I actually prefer resistance bands. You can travel with them. You can change the resistance up depending on how you're feeling and what the exercise is. They're really versatile. Does it matter what kind of movement? Sorry, I'm answering questions.
Yeah.
Listen, I have ADD over here. Something pops up on the screen and
You're
I'm like,
good.
oh,
You're good. Answer them.
So strength training and walking, those are really are you talking about what kind of strength training? So like major muscle groups are the best, right? So squats, lunges for the lower body. You could do some deadlifts for the lower body. But really squats and lunges are going to hit the lower body really nicely. Biceps, triceps, shoulders, back. Don't forget your core. Dom mentioned stretching, which I so failed to mention. Stretching and stability is so crucial, especially for core. As we get older, spinal stability, right? Like we don't want to have back pain. We don't want to, be struggling to do basic daily movements, right? And having your core nice and strong is really important. So, it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be all of these like complex movements. Literally, you do 2 minutes of squats, 2 minutes of lunges, 2 minutes of bicep curls, triceps, and shoulders. You're going to be huffing and puffing. You're going to be sweating, and that's going to be a really, really incredible strength training workout.
And I'll tell you, YouTube has some really amazing strength training workouts that you can do body weight. Of course, I need to work with these people and see if I can get some kind of sponsorship because an affiliate link, I don't know. But I love Mr. and Mrs. Muscle on YouTube. It's low impact strength training workouts for all parts of the body. They are all short, like 30 minutes or less. I don't even know if I've ever done a 30-minute one. You feel it. It feels good, and YouTube is free. So there's that, the Fit On app. So FITON, also free. Hopefully they haven't changed anything, but they have stretching and yoga. And they also, when I was pregnant, there were workouts during pregnancy and postpartum workouts. And so they have strength training on there again with minimal equipment. So you don't have to worry about the gym. I'm sitting right here in my bedroom. It functions as an office, the place that I sleep, and I have all this open space to work out right in front of a TV. I set it up that way. I can do all those workouts from here. If you have stairs, walking up and down the stairs, also strength and cardio. Because you have to use like those big major muscles, right, in your lower body to get you to move up those stairs. And if you slow down the pace a little bit and feel yourself activating those muscles almost as if you're in a Stairmaster, you get that. I know I'm not the doctor here. I'm just telling you what I do. Push-ups. I also play with my kids. I let my kids be my weight sometimes. So if you've got toddlers like me, who are between 25 and 35 pounds, I do squats with them. When my son was a little bit shorter, he loved being my kettlebell. So I would like grab him like by the waist and just like did kettlebell swings with his little body. I like not with his arms because I didn't want to injure him, but I held him the right way. He thought it was so funny. And then I would do push-ups and I would like push off the couch, like the incline, or wall push-ups, even. There's so many ways that I figured out how to do it because I also don't have time for the gym. And I think my favorites are YouTube, the Fit On app, and then just because I've been an athlete and like done so many different classes and things, um, sometimes I do what I can do. I'm like, I got probably 10 good minutes of them eating dinner. Let me do something real fast. And that's
Yep.
what we do. So hopefully that helps
Yep.
for folks who were asking in the comments. This, I literally just moved us into our next section of how to get the kids involved.
Perfect.
So
Yeah.
all how do we get our kids involved in fitness? I know I want to be like a model that we just move our bodies. I think my real motivation for moving my body is like making it a lifestyle so my kids know this is just how we eat. This is just part of our day. This is just how we move. I know there's other cultures outside of America where like walking with your family is a thing. Like you do that before or after your meal twice a day or whatever. Like they just do that. And
Mhm.
so I see the kids in my like community. I live in a very diverse area and I see the whole family walking, all ages, literally multiple generations. And so as busy parents, how do we get our kids involved? And you can think about this from like all ages.
Yeah. So that was my first point was you. By you moving your body, when you model that, we know good and bad, they model our behavior, right? The worst thing is when you see yourself come back at you or you're like, oh no. But in this situation, it's really good, right? They are going to model what you do. So I love that you're doing that, Dom. So that's first and foremost, if you move your body, they start again, we do like tag or how many laps we can do or see if he can pass me. We're doing laps in the living room and hallway. One other thing, dance party is big at our house. We love dancing. I love dancing. And, so we'll just be like, stop, dance party. And we'll have just a dance party. And then the other thing that Leo loves is I got a mini trampoline. So trampolines are really great for lymphatic flow and detoxification as well. So I got a mini trampoline really for me. Turns out it really ended up being for him because I could be doing my strength training or whatever next to him and he could just be jumping on the trampoline. We were having our exercise and our movement together. But, kids love games. If you make it fun, don't make it sound or seem like torture because if you do, then they'll be like, ooh, I don't want to do that. But make it fun and they're going to want to be a part of that.
Perfect. I love that. And I think that can evolve too as the kids get older. I've got toddlers and, we had to teach my son about cooperative play and we had to teach him how to kick and how to throw. And of course, you have to do that for all kids. Some can just pick it up by watching. And my son, he had to get support, right? Like through therapies because of, autism and him just like need to understand. And so now I'm excited because he can do some of those things. And so now we can evolve it to kicking a ball around or throwing a ball around and like he understands it and he can wait and he can go get it and we're getting all this different type of movement in. Well, I mean, what if he decides he wants to play soccer? I guess we're about to play soccer, like right as a family, or basketball, or whatever, or gymnastics. Or I wish I could flip. My kids also intuitively do yoga poses. They have
Yeah.
like the best downward dog and the best child's pose I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, I did not teach you that. And you absolutely did not see me do it because I don't know how to do it. I'm working on it. So like you didn't see me because I do my workouts when you're sleeping. So I like that you said make it fun. And also you can just pay attention to like what your kids are doing or pay attention to what they like if you work out in front of them. Like, what is it that they seemingly like? Or if your kids like to sing and dance, then like dance is a great way to do fitness. Line dances are super popular. And I used to do the wobble as cardio over the pandemic. It's hard cardio. That Cupid shuffle, like all of those things are good cardio. You might think it's crazy. People think it's like what are you doing? You do that like 2 times in a row. 1, you've gotten yourself to 10 minutes. 2, you probably laughed. And 3, you can get the whole household involved.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes you looking out, like think about like going to like dance clubs and dance parties and having a dance party at your house a little bit differently because it fits exactly everything that you've been talking about here, and you can incorporate like the family in it. So um, that's just like I literally I'm telling y'all stuff I've done. Like I'm not even making it up. At first I did it and I'm like, girl, you are nuts. And then I was like, the next day I'm sore. So obviously I was into it. Um, so Michelle, I know that you had this amazing community that I have joined. How can people connect with you? I know you have a challenge.
Yeah.
There was a challenge coming up. Do not leave because you want to hear about this challenge that she has. Um, Obviously, I'm going to be a part of it because she will not let me not be a part of it. Um, so, and she knows how much I love and support her because I really believe in all the work she's done, and I believe in the results that not only have I gotten it, but my friends have gotten. So, tell us about this challenge and how we can get involved.
Yeah. So, really, I created the challenge kind of as a stepping stone, right? Like, functional medicine can be intimidating. It's involved. It's a lot of moving parts, right? And so, really, when I was thinking about this challenge, is how can I meet people where they're at? How can I just help them make some simple changes in any sort of area, right? So, when I work with patients, I really focus on what are called 5 pillars: nutrition, mindset, movement, lymphatic flow, and then nervous system regulation, getting out of fight or flight. And doing all 5 of those, just meeting people feel and function better. And really the focus is we're calling it a cortisol reset, right? Because we really want to focus on reducing stress. Really and truly, if you can reduce stress in your life, your body is going to function better. You are going to start healing. It is going to start doing the things that it was designed to do, but it hasn't been able to do because it's been stuck in that stressful fight or flight state. And so that's going to be our focus of the challenge. And we will have all sorts of resources in there, thousands of dollars worth of resources, nutrition guidance, workouts. We're going to have mindset coaching. We're going to have lymphatic routines, and then some tips and tricks for regulating your nervous system. So it's going to start February 3rd. So if you want the details, or maybe you don't necessarily want the details, but you have questions for me, I'm going to give y'all my cell phone number, okay? So you guys can text me. If you're interested in the challenge, just text the word challenge to 770-661-0306. Okay. And if you don't want to join the challenge, or maybe you're interested in the challenge, but you have other questions, I'll be responding. A real person will be responding, I promise. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys have. This really and truly is something that I really tried to turn my pain into my passion. And so I really have a passion for helping people. So if there are any questions that any of you guys have, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, so text challenge to 770-661-0306. It starts February 3rd. This is a way for you to chat with Michelle, ask her questions. She actually does respond. It really is like her phone number. So you really will be able to chat with her. And I think the challenge is worth it. Is the challenge something that busy parents can do?
For sure. For sure. Again, it's all about meeting you where you're at, right? So if there's only one thing that you can do, you're still going to be moving the needle, right? Towards healing, towards feeling and functioning your absolute best. That's what it's all about, right? 1% better every day. We're not going to hit a home run and get where we want to go, no matter how hard we try, right? Nobody is. Right. So we're just trying to string some singles together to score some runs. Right. We're just trying to get 1% better every day. So it's really up to the person who's in the challenge. You want to incorporate all 5, and you can, because by the way, I'm busy too. And so I give you little tricks and hacks in how to incorporate all of these 5 pillars in as little as 10 to 15 minutes a day. Right. And so, You want to do one pillar, you want to do 5 pillars, doesn't matter. You're still part of the challenge. You get the accountability. And even if you only do it 50% of the time, that's 50% more than you were doing. So
I love that. Anything else that you think would be important for everyone to know? Anything else you want to share?
you know, I don't think so. I mean, fitness is so tough. We've just been, I don't know, especially as a female, I've just been, we've been so brainwashed to think a certain way. So it's hard to kind of break those cycles. And for those people who are all or nothing people who, well, I can't spend 45 minutes in the gym, so I'm just not going to do it. Start with 5 minutes. 5 minutes will get easier. And then you could make it to 10, right? You have to start somewhere. Pick somewhere and start. And you will keep growing and you will get stronger and you will be better for it. But again, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be easy. Nothing good is easy. Nothing worth having is easy. But it doesn't have to be torture either.
No, it does not. And um, I love that you said, start with 5 minutes, because after two children, preeclampsia, uh, two C-sections, all kind. I had a lot of stuff happening, like with pregnancy. And I remember I just started with walking up and down the stairs for 5 minutes. Once I was cleared to move, and then I moved to 10 minutes, and then I moved to 15 minutes. And then I was able to say, okay, there was a day where like I spent an hour in the gym and it didn't feel like it. And I am not an hour long in the gym girly. Like it, the only way I'm staying that long is if it is like a CrossFit class and there is a coach. And that felt oddly enough fun to me, because like I was doing different things. I felt like I was accomplishing whatever, but by myself, I'm not doing it. I get bored really fast. I have to go. And so it's true. Like starting with the 5 minutes, starting small, like anything that you can do is better than nothing. Even the stretching, even the mobility, even the like stability that you're talking about. It matters. And all it does is help you feel better when it is time to move on that walk. Or, when it is time to increase the weights for your strength training or adding in weights. So, um, this was awesome. The comments are mentioning like how motivating this was. Um, I know that people got some nuggets about just quick ways to fit this in. I love that you shared all of the science, and I love that obviously you're a mom, so you get it. You get it. You're a mom who is like helping other people get healthy, and so obviously you've done these things. Um, what As we close out, what is one thing that you want to leave everybody with tonight that they can either do tonight or tomorrow that you think is related to fitness and busy parenting?
Oh, like a task?
Yeah, just like one thing to get them started besides texting you.
Text me. I would love to see everybody just make a commitment to doing, let's say 5 exercises. So like squats, 10 squats, 10 lunges, and 10 push-ups. Let's just do 3. 10 squats, 10 lunges, and 10 push-ups. Commit to starting there and give yourself grace. One of the things I really beat myself up about after becoming a mom is I was an athlete, man. I was in fantastic shape. And I was like, how could I let myself get to this point? And there was a time where I was just like, man, forget it. Like that ship has sailed. I'm so mad at myself. Give yourself grace. Like, being a parent is hard. Being an adult is hard. And you're not using it as an excuse, right, to continue to be where you are, but you're just giving yourself grace and saying, you know what, I can either choose to stay here or I can choose to take a step in the right direction. So I would love to see a commitment to 5, what did I say? 10 squats, 10 lunges on each leg, and 10 push-ups every single day.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And then y'all come back here because Michelle will be here with me next week. We're going to talk about nutrition. So I want you to come back and tell us in the comments if you did it next week, Or text her and tell her, you know what? Like, tell her your story. You know what? I was struggling and I did this every day, or my kids join me, or whatever, right? I can honestly tell you she would genuinely love to hear that, and so will I. And she will definitely keep me updated if you do it. So, friend, love you so much.
I love you.
Truly, thank you for being so excited to do this with me 2 weeks in a row to share such great information with our community of parents around fitness and health in general. I'm excited to talk about nutrition with you next week. Um, yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining me, and everybody, thank you for joining us. Make sure that you like and subscribe so that you can stay up to date on all that we post, and you'll know when we go live again. Join us every Tuesday here for Tune In Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok. Like, if you just found this showed up on your For You page or Explore page, make sure that you stay connected with us, and also check the links in our bio to join our community. We also got some other resources like an amazing parenting bundle with all sorts of resources. And nutrition is one of them, and fitness is one of them. So there's something for everybody there. So, again, thank you for Michelle for joining us, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This was awesome. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks, Dom.
Yeah. Oh, and connect with Michelle on socials at Dr. Michelle McNair. Also, I forgot. I meant to say you. Stay connected with her. She's constantly giving out good information on her platform as well.
I'll be here next week.
All
They
right.
can find me then too.
Yeah. And we tagged you in our stories and all that. They'll find you.
I love
All right. Good night, everyone.